Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here. I'm doing a very special unboxing today because I was recently chosen as the winner for a contest between, or in collaboration, excuse me, with Toychestnews and Diamond Comics distributor, or Diamond Select Toys, is the name you might be more familiar with. And I was actually the winner of two Vinimate figures, two 4-inch Vinimate figures from Back to the Future, which is why I'm wearing my jacket along with my hat. But for those of you who are not familiar with Vinimates, they are basically the vinyl versions of Minimates, and for anyone who may not be familiar with Minimates are basically posable Legos. So if you like Legos, Minimates are cooler because they're like super posable, but also still really tiny. So I thought that was actually really awesome. Honestly, I was not really familiar with Minimates or Vinimates before this contest took place. Then I did a bunch of research and I was like, crap, that's dangerous for me to look at because they all look really cool. It's like a million different franchises, movies, comics, games. It was just like a million different things. I was like, oh, this is like, there's an insane variety of Minimates that you can buy. So I thought that was actually very cool. And then of course the Minimates are the vinyl versions of those, which have less posability, but you know, they're vinyl figures, so a little bit more kind of upscale as far as quality and stuff. Got this little letter with it. Of course, it's just saying, you know, it has my name in it and everything. So congratulations. Of course, this is coming straight from Toychestnews. They said they'll be having more contests like this in the future, so make sure to check out toychestnews.com, their Twitter feed, Facebook fan page for more details. And of course, it's telling me, let everybody know, follow them, like them on Twitter, Facebook, everything like that. You can have random moments like I did because I was just, you know, scrolling past it and I was just like, okay, I'll sign up for this. And I ended up winning, so it was actually very awesome. And these are actually the two figures that I ended up winning. So of course we have our two main characters from Back to the Future, Doc Brown and of course Marty McFly. And then on the back here, it's kind of just the images of the figures, and then them telling you, you know, you got Doc Brown, why don't you get Marty, and then you got Marty, why don't you get Doc Brown. But I like these figures. They're very cool. Of course, it says that they have posable heads. I haven't opened them up yet. This is actually my second time doing the video because they have like that little circular piece of tape, and I was like, I actually want to keep the box, so I didn't just want to rip the tape off. So I decided to stop the video and just start over. But I like these for sure. I like the fact that they're vinyl. I think that's a cool thing with them in general. They are 4-inch figures, if I'm remembering correctly. So 4-inch Doc, and then of course 4-inch Marty figure as well. But we'll get into the Doc figure first, and then save Marty for last, since he's, you know, like the main character of, you know, the franchise. But it does have, like, you know, it even says, like, you know, Back to the Future trilogy on the back. It's not just Back to the Future 1. But it's really cool. You know, it's well, you can't really see it in there just yet, but it's Marty on the skateboard, and then Doc has the remote control for the DeLorean from the very beginning of the film, when he was showing Marty everything that could be done with him. So I'll move Marty off to the side here. And I'll be doing some more images, so it won't just be like me super far away or just doing this. You guys will get some fairly decent shots of these because I'm going to do some footage kind of after the fact. But this is pretty cool. You know, this is him up close. There's a, you know, simple kind of quick look at him. And like I said, I'll get some more footage later and kind of just toss it in there. But I think this is nice. You know, it's got some fairly decent detail for the actual controller. It has, you know, knobs and stuff like that. You know, the expression I think is actually pretty perfect. I think that's really nice. It even has it where his hair is actually kind of going to one side, so I think that's actually very cool. So I definitely like this figure. Simple little, you know, they're vinyl figures, so for anyone who's not familiar with like vinyl figures and things like that, vinyl figures, you kind of just, you pose them up, you know, it's just like a normal figure. Like, that's pretty much all it is to it. It's not as sensitive as resin. I would say is like the most sensitive of figures and things like that, where you gotta be super careful. Vinyl, like, I can even feel like, you know, it has a bit of weight to it, like just enough, I'd say, to survive like a drop if something were to happen. But I definitely like this. I think it's pretty cool. It says it has a posable head, so we'll definitely test that. It looks like, you know, kind of just a left and right sort of deal, but actually I can see in there, and his head actually moves a bit. It's just kind of, I think with it being like the first time I'm doing it, it's a bit slick, or not slick, it's like the opposite, it's actually tough. But I can see that there's actually a thing to kind of move his head up and down. So I'll probably have to, yeah, there it is. I just have to work a little because it's, you know, new. So, you know, that's how new it is, like you can hear it. But yeah, that's pretty simple. You know, it just goes up and down, you know, so nothing super crazy there. And you can turn it left and right a little bit. And I might experiment with that a little bit more just to see exactly how far it goes. Of course, without, you know, trying to break it or anything like that. But definitely like this figure. I actually really like this, you know, because normally when you see figures of Doc, I typically, maybe it's just because of me personally, I always kind of think of him from the second movie when he's like in the jacket. like the the future jacket that he's always wearing. So that's what I always think of when I think of figures. So it's actually kind of cool to have a figure of him like in his radiation outfit. They got the big yellow gloves on him and stuff like that. So I think that's actually very cool. Little bits of color here, which I like. Like the tiny bit of orange, if you can see him right there. And of course, I'll just be doing some better shots of this later anyway. But I think that's cool. Like just little bits of detail. And I've never really looked at it, but I'm pretty sure I do remember little bits of orange on his feet from the film, so that is actually interesting. And this is actually something, for those of you who may or may not be interested in the Minimates, because this of course is designed after them, and I don't know how well this will show up, so it might just be the random, like with my little B-roll footage, but it has like the little circles on his leg to show, with the actual Minimates version, this is where you can bend the legs at and stuff like that, and they even have it on the arms as well. So I think that's actually very cool. And of course here's just the inside of the box a little bit. Got the 88 miles per hour in there and stuff like that. So that's actually pretty nice. I'm going to put him back. I don't know where in the world I'm going to put these guys, or if I'm going to leave them out of the box or keep them in the box, because I actually like the box. So it's like crap, I kind of want to keep the box and the figures, but I kind of want to show these figures off. I think they're very cool, so I kind of want to have them out, somewhere in the house. I'm just not sure exactly how I'm going to end up doing that. So I got a little, got caught a little bit on the side here. Get him down in there. I'll just finagle that a little bit later. Then of course we get to the main star, Marty, the kid out of time, constantly out of time, either by his own means or going to save somebody, or Doc took him to the future in the second movie. You never really know. If you play the game, the Telltale game, or you read the comics currently, they're just going in and out of time all over the freaking place. There's like a million different stories now. But we got our Marty figure. Of course, this is him actually with the glasses, which is kind of awesome. So there's Marty lifting up his glasses. It'll zoom in. Yeah. So that's definitely cool. I actually think I like this one more just because of the fact that it's him, like he's actually lifting up the glasses and he's doing the actual pose, of course, from the movie cover. So I actually think that's very cool. This is pretty interesting. Of course, he's got a skateboard on one of his feet, so I think that's actually really cool as well. A lot more detail because, of course, he's in like his costume from most of the movie, which is after he goes back to 1955, and Doc is, of course, in his radiation outfit from the beginning when they're still in 1985. So a bit more color here compared to Doc, where he's just in the white radiation suit, and Marty is instead, wearing the life preserver. So I think that's pretty awesome. Same deal with him, where he has like the little kind of circles in his leg. Like if you got the Minimates version, it's like, oh, this is where his leg bends. Of course, his leg is actually bending. One of them is at least. So it's definitely really cool. I want to be super careful with this because I know the arm doesn't move, but I can see like the glasses actually do touch the hand. So I want to be fairly careful with that, obviously not to break it, because I like this figure. I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to have to work with that a little bit, and I'll probably get some different poses a little later. I want to make sure I'm super careful, because I feel like if I do it too hard, I feel like I'll snap the glasses off. So I'll probably just have all of that as far as like little bits of footage later on, as far as like my little extra close-up shots and things like that, showing slightly different angles of his head, kind of moving back and forth. But I really like this figure. I think it's very cool. Once again, very solid. I actually like the amount of weight it has to it. I was kind of surprised. I was thinking I honestly thought it was a little bit lighter. But they both have fairly decent weight to them. I don't know why I put this back in the box now that I think about it, because of course I'm going to have them stand next to each other. But I think they're both really great figures. If you're into vinyl figures, I highly recommend these. If you're into, of course, Minimates, I would say these are really good Vinimates. So I think they're really good companion pieces to the Minimate versions. I would assume they're Minimate versions. I'm not sure how new these are as far as the series itself, Back to the Future items. They've always had a million Back to the Future items, so I would assume Back to the Future Minimates have been out for a very long time. But I think these are both really good. I definitely, like I said, mostly it's because of the fact that there's so much color to Marty's version. It's him. He's got the red, then he's got the blue jeans, he's got the white shirt. His shoes are actually like beige instead of being completely white, which I think is cool. And of course he even has like the little cuff, which is sweet, and you can even see him with the watch. So it's actually really awesome. And plus, of course, the the glasses up top. So a lot more things to notice. Like if you kind of just look head on, it's like, oh, there's like multiple colors compared to Doc, where it's just it's white, black, a bit of brown in there, which is perfectly fitting for him. But you know, you got the white, black, and yellow, and then the bit of brown, and then like the little bits of orange. I really do love that though. Like with it being, you know, mostly white, I do love like that little bit of orange. Like if you tilt it and then you kind of look at the legs, I do love that tiny little hint of orange. And I didn't even notice this, but there's actually orange like right underneath as well. So that's actually kind of awesome. So that's very cool. Like those little tiny hints of color. And there's a tiny little bit where his shirt is like open and you can see a little bit of the yellow underneath there. So definitely awesome. I love the design for it where it's like, oh, you know, it's mostly this color, but then it's like you look at it, it's like, oh, there's a little bit of orange here, there's a little bit of orange there, a little bit of yellow there. So I definitely love that for sure. I love both figures, but like I said, just at a glance, I would say I like the Marty one better just because it's like, oh, that's, you know, as soon as you look at it, it's like, boom, there's so many different colors compared to Doc. But I love them both. It's Back to the Future. I love both figures. Also, Marty's doing the actual image from the, you know, from the cover of the first movie. So another thing like that is like, you know, when you see Back to the Future, you know, obviously if you see the posters and stuff, that's what you're going to see. You aren't going to see, you know, Doc in his outfit. You're going to see Marty doing the pose. Typically, of course, he's doing it from the actual DeLorean, but this is very cool. I would love it if the whole thing came with like just he's attached to the DeLorean. That would be an interesting figure to see, or he's just attached to the DeLorean. But this is really awesome. So I love that. I love both figures. You know, him with the skateboard, glasses looking up, and then, you know, Doc as he's about to control the DeLorean and send Einstein 2 minutes into the future, that sort of deal. So I think definitely two really great small figures. I really like them. Personally speaking, I would highly recommend them if you're already a fan of the Mini-Mates. Definitely just upgrade and get some cool, you know, posable figures. If you are a fan of Back to the Future, highly recommend them. I think they're actually very cool. I don't know the cost or anything like that, so obviously that's, you know, a personal preference if it's too much or anything like that, just for, you know, figures, stuff like that. But I definitely think they're both really cool. Definitely great figures. As a huge fan of Back to the Future, I love both of these. So I'm very excited. You know, of course I won them, so it just, like, there's a million different feelings with that, because it's like I never would have seen that coming, to be totally honest. It's just like, sure, I'll sign up for it. You know, I honestly forgot. It had been, you know, they of course, you know, give you a certain amount of time. It's like a few weeks or so. And I was like, oh, you know, I got the email. I was like, there's no way. And then I, you know, won 2 Back to the Future figures. So super happy that I won them. But I definitely would say, based off of, you know, looking at them and getting my hands on them and feeling the weight of them and the design of them themselves, I would definitely say these are worth picking up if you've got the extra money, or, you know, you're just interested in having like some nice, you know, smaller figures, because of course these are, you know, smaller figures compared to what you could get if you went through, you know, any other means of getting like figures. You could get, you know, figures a million different types of sizes. You know, like I said, there's giant DeLoreans you can get that are still, you know, probably the size of like the surface that I'm using pretty much. So there are a million different things you can get, but if you like these, I would say, you know, with the, you know, my hands-on feel of them, definitely a decent weight to them. I don't think they would just fall and shatter or anything like that. I think they're definitely a good weight. They can take a fall. Obviously not too many, but no one wants to drop anything anyway. That's not the point. But I definitely say the weight of them is good. A little bit of posability. Like I said, you know, with the heads, you can lift them up, lift them down, turn them just a little bit. You can probably turn them, yeah, like all the way around if you want to. I don't know why you'd want Doc's head to be like totally sideways like that. But if that's what you want, technically you can do that. So you can twist the heads around, try to force a little bit with Marty. Yeah, I mean, no, it says it's posable head for both. Remember? Yeah, posable head for both. So, yeah, because they have it on here where his hand is not on the glasses. So I will try to get that, lift his head up just a little bit. But I am super worried because I'm like, you know, they're both so rigid. Like in most things, when they haven't really been moved, it's like I'm so scared to do it too hard because the last thing I want to do is break the glasses off. So I might actually have to do it a little bit after the video and try to get that, because I'm so worried about like just squishing the glasses, like just crushing my thumb right on the glasses and shattering them. It's like, oh crap, I just broke it as soon as I got it. But I'll do a little bit of that later, and I'll have, you know, of course I have already put that footage in, but that'll be in there. Finagle it a little bit off camera. But highly recommend both these figures if you're interested, or if you were wondering or anything like that. I'd say these are definitely some really good figures. The poses I think are entertaining, especially of course for Marty, because he's doing the pose from the actual poster, so that's very cool. And then I just love the face. Like, I love the pose for Marty, but Doc's face, I feel like they just captured that look. Like, that's just a perfect look to me. I think like that's perfect. They did that absolutely well. So love both the figures. Like I said, if you've been looking into it, you've been thinking about picking them up, I would say do it. I think they're actually pretty cool if you already have, you know, a row of Vinimates and stuff like that, and you're just looking to add to your collection, I think these are definitely two really good figures to add to the collection. So I would definitely recommend it. But of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about these figures. If you guys have any random questions, of course, I have the figure, so I can look at some random stuff, or give you guys some extra details if you're interested or anything like that. But definitely recommend checking them out. I think they're pretty cool. Of course, go to the website. I'll put a link in the description so you guys can go straight to the check out Minimates and Vinimates and stuff like that if you guys are interested, because like I said, they have a bunch of different franchises, things like that. So if you're interested, like I said, I highly recommend them. I think they're both very, very cool. So I'm happy that I got these. But we'd love to know what you guys thought about the figures. Like I said, if you guys have any questions about them, just let me know. I'll respond as fast as I possibly can, look at whatever little details you guys might have any interest in. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.